Gen Tech Services, service you can connect with.
Greetings, Joe Scerbo here with Gen Tech Services. We're in our training facility here in Tracy, California, and I'm showing you some new technology that now exists in the marketplace regarding hot water heaters. What you can see here on this right here is your traditional gas hot water heater, and over my other shoulder here, you can see the new Ruud hybrid hot water heater. The difference between these two is this particular hot water heater uses only electric, which is not necessarily new technology. However, it's using a heat pump, which you would normally find on an HVAC system. This, of course, is using gas. Now, what's interesting about this product is it uses a heat pump, and the heat pump, as you may or may not know, takes the ambient heat within the atmosphere, and it puts it into the tank to heat the hot water. Whereas a traditional gas hot water heater uses gas and fires and burns and uses a fossil fuel and heats the water. And that's the water you get to use in your home. The heat pump hot water heater, this specifically is a hybrid, so that means it's using a heat pump technology and in some cases using a resistive electric technology, more of a traditional electric technology. So the heat pump is actually removing the heat out of the atmosphere, and it's putting the heat into the tank and heating the water. The byproduct, of course, is cold. Some of you may or may not know that the way the air conditioning technology in your home works is it removes heat. So what you feel coming out of the registers in the summer is not cold air. What you're feeling is air without heat. In essence, it's cold air. But that's important to distinguish that, because this heat pump technology pulls the hot air out of your space, warms the water, and discharges cold air. And so this here, on this side here, is what's referred to the outlet. Up here is referred to the inlet. And what's interesting about water heaters in California is many of us have these water heaters in our garages. So going into the garage in the summer is blazing hot. And so what's nice about having this in your garage now is it actually ends up cooling your garage. So if you have a workshop in your garage, maybe you have a second refrigerator or freezer, those devices won't be working as hard because the ambient air within the garage space now is going to be cooled by this heat pump hot water heater. Another interesting distinguish between the two, this ends up using 0.8 UEF, uniform efficiency factor, whereas this hybrid hot water heater ends up using 3.85. And so what this means in layman's terms is for every dollar of therms, and therms is the way you measure gas consumption, for every dollar of therm, you get 0.80 of hot water out. Whereas with this type H or hybrid hot water heater, for every dollar you spend on kWh, because that's the metric we use for measuring consumption of electricity. So every dollar of kWh you use, you get $3.85 worth of hot water out. It's far superior of a product. This particular unit here is a 40-gallon. This here will probably end up costing a homeowner, depending upon their usage, somewhere in the neighborhood of $120. So this is essentially almost 4 times, it's actually literally 4 times more efficient than some other great technology that's packed into this Ruud professional hybrid hot water heater, is what Ruud is referring to as a leak guard detection system. This is an actual actuating valve that's controlled by the hot water heater, connected to a sensor that gets placed in the bottom of the pan with these little plastic P-clips. And when water touches the sensor here, it sends a signal to the heater, the hot water heater, and then in turn sends an output signal to this actuating valve. And this is the inlet or cold inlet water, domestic water coming into this hot water heater. In the event it senses water, it actually turns this actuating valve off, eliminating flooding that you might have from a faulty hot water heater or any sort of leaking. This also actually has, this particular unit, and all heat pump water heaters have a condensation outlet, because this is actually removing heat from the space, converting it to cold, and it actually acts as a dehumidifier. And so some of the byproduct as well is water. And so this has to be discharged out of the home. But let's say that this is leaking or a pipe cracked some way. Maybe somebody threw a ball at it and it cracked and it's not going outside now. Well, if it finds its way into this pan here, it'll automatically turn off the cold water, essentially turning off the unit and isolating any damage, water damage you might have in the home. Up here at the top here, we're showing a disconnect switch that needs to be connected to a 30 amp 240 volt circuit that comes from your main electrical panel. We're also showing here that we recommend on all installs to have a surge suppressor. This is packed with all sorts of circuitry boards and stuff, and the last thing you want to do is have a circuit board go out and now you don't have any hot water heater. This is a great product if you already have solar or thinking of getting solar. There's really no reason to use gas once you're producing your own power. So this is a great way to reduce the energy consumption, especially gas and not fossil fuel. So coming from Tracy, California, our training facility, happy to talk about this great new technology that we're providing many clients throughout the greater San Francisco Bay Area. There's additional incentives and tax credits. Feel free to give us a call. You can find us online, www.gentechservices.com. Thank you so much for listening to the video, and we look forward to serving you.